Hi students, today we'll be talking about business financials and legal, which are the important essentials for entrepreneurs and startups. Let's have a look at startup costs. What are startup costs? Startup costs are the one-off expenses that you pay before you start the business. Some common examples would be equipment that you use for your business, such as computers, tools, or machinery. Next, you have the premise where the business is operating on. This could be a rental shop. And then you have to look at the legal implications, such as licenses or registration fees. Next would be the marketing. What do you have to do for the market to market your business? This could be the website, the logo design, or branding. There's two different types of costs in the business. We have the fixed and the variable costs. The fixed costs are the costs that stays the same. Doesn't matter how much sales the business makes. For example, we've got rent, insurance, or loan payments. Next is the variable cost. So this is the cost that changes with the sales volume. For example, the more product that you create, the more that you're going to be spending on raw materials, such as packaging and hourly wages that you're paying your employees. You need to find the break-even point for your business. What do we mean by the break-even point? The break-even point is where your total revenue, which is the profit or money that the business makes, is the same as your total cost, which is the expenses that the business incur. Why is it important to find a break-even point? Anything that is below the break-even point is a loss for the business, and anything that is above the break-even point is a profit. This is the minimum target that you need for your business to survive. Let's look at the formula and break it down. So the break-even point is where your fixed business costs divided by your selling price minus your variable cost per unit. What do we mean by per unit? The unit, the cost that you incur per product. Say, for example, if you have a smartphone company, if you are selling, let's say you're Sony and you're selling Sony phones, the variable cost per unit is the cost that the business have to pay for the raw materials to build one phone. So over here, our break-even formula is the fixed costs divided by how much you sell a phone for minus the variable cost per unit. So it is the fixed cost divided by the profit that you're making. That is your break even. So the basic formula for profit would be the total money that your business makes minus the total costs that your business has to pay equals the profit in your business. High profit does not mean that the business is going to succeed, as high costs can often wear down the amount of the amount of sales that the business has. Therefore, it is important to control your business expense for profit. It is very important for a business to make sure that they have cash. Now let's have a look at what cash flow is. Cash flow refers to the movement in and out of your business. There is this thing called a danger zone where, as a business, you might look like you're making a lot of money on the books through your accounts, but you can still go bankrupt if you run out of cash. For example, if a customer owes you $10,000, which could be a profit to the business, but they don't pay up in 60 days, the business will still have to pay rent and fixed costs today. So cash flow is important because without cash flow, your business would be in trouble if it can't pay its fixed costs or variable costs that is needed to be paid off immediately. Now, let's have a look at profit margins. We are going to look at gross and net margin. What does gross margin mean? Gross margin is the profit that you make on your service or your goods before you take the expenses or the cost away. That is your gross margin. Your net margin is the actual profit after all the expenses has been taken away. Why do you have to keep an eye on gross and net margin? A healthy margin protects you from price increases or unexpected costs. A low margin means you've got a high risk. If your margin is too small, a small problem will wipe your business profits.